Now we are going for the designing group coaching program, right? So all the questions or the comments what Akansha was also making in the means how to start the session and what time and all that. Now everything will be answered by the very end of this session, not at the beginning of this session, but by the very end of this session, you will understand that is how exactly to design and structure a program. Right. And again, means I have used my experience and the reflections in doing it. The same me would not have created this structure 2 years before because I am also learning. I am also experiencing the feedback of the learners, right? So based on all that, now we are talking about the new, and this is the reason. After this batch, I'm going to apply to the ICF. I already have the ICF CC, but it is for the old program. Now the program itself is transformed. So the ICF wants now a new accreditation for the program. So this batch, along with the batch information, I'm going to submit to ICF in January, and I will get the CC, say, by the end of February. So by from the month of March onwards, we will start distributing the certificates of ICFCC. So the program has gone a sea change in the last 1 year. I'm not saying this is perfect or something like that, but I'm 100% sure about the 100x ROI. That I'm sure. But yes, so the same me after 5 years will deliver the program in a totally different way. Because see, can you imagine on a Sunday, we are sitting for the entire day? This is not practical. That means this is not a smart design, right? This is absolutely a compromise, right? So you are asking participant to have their, say, focus on a Sunday from the morning till evening. Is it a right design? It is not a right design, but for underserved circumstances, we are doing it. But don't take this as a benchmark, right? So don't create a program wherein you are asking participants to come for a full day and all that. Now uh, times are changing. So designing group coaching programs. So we are going to learn group coaching intervention, design principles. Means what are the design guidelines for any kind of group coaching program? Then I will go further and I will offer you very specific tips on how to identify your TG, what to do with the TG, how to decide on a group coaching model. We have just seen it, but we will see that is okay from the perspective of the design. How to structure the sessions. What was the question of Akansha, which I said that I will answer it in C3. How to develop content, how to design activities, right? So how to say design the milestones of the program, what tools and techniques to use, feedback mechanism. We already seen the start, stop, continue, right? Yeah, how to basically implement that. Are there any other ways to seek feedback which are much more simpler and smarter? Then some tips on the logistics and the technology, what you can use to design and deliver programs effectively. And then you will go for an activity of designing a session plan. How you will design a session plan from the start till end of the session, that activity you will have. And after the activity also, I'm going to give you some tips based on what you come up in your discussion. So a quote, designing a group coaching program isn't just only about the content. It is about fostering a connection and conversation that moves the group forward. So this is the difference between the training and coaching. Always remember, the training, the content is the king. The deliverer is the boss. In coaching, it is all about the group, the connection, the relationship, the group dynamics, the conversation, the activities, the reflections. That is what highlights, or that is what takes the group coaching to the next level. As an intervention, I'm talking about. So the foundations of a group coaching intervention design. But generally, people don't understand the intervention word well. So we say the program. But when we talk about the program, we are talking about the program model, right? So I'm talking about intervention. If you have to design any group coaching intervention, what you will think. So the number one, it is always has to be aligned with your TG, the participants' goals and objectives. So the everything is backward. And I am a one of the best curriculum designers in this country. And without any humility, I am telling this because I have experienced this when I was designing the curriculum for my master degree program. It was affiliated with the University of Mumbai and UGC. So I went because one of my friends has great connections in the education. So I went with him to the vice chancellors and to HODs and the deans of more than 10 universities. And I requested them, you give me a resource, I'm ready to pay, but I want to design the curriculum for this master's degree. They said, what you are talking? It is not a simple job. The teams of 15, 20 people work 1 year to do it, and no one knows the entire picture. So everyone are just experts in pockets, and then there is a whole game. But I wanted to design and develop curriculum in 3 months' time because university gave me a 4 months' time. So my internal target was 3 months. After all this survey, I understood that nobody is in a position to do it. They want to do it. I'm ready to compensate them well, but they are not in a position to do it. So I started understanding the UGC pattern, university pattern, how to design curriculum. And within 3 months, I designed and developed the curriculum. Right. So now I know, means whatever I am talking, right? So how to design a curriculum. I have expertise. I may not be perfect, right? I may not be the world number one, but in this country, in India, means I know the vice chancellors and the deans and all that from the education domain, and I know their caliber. So whatever I am talking, I am going to give you many practical insights into the design of a curriculum. So always we have to work backwards. What is the and not necessarily every time you will be 100% successful, right? But I'm saying the design principle. Your direction has to be right. Okay. Sometimes you will fail 50% of the time, but still your direction is right only. Right now, your marks are 5 out of 10, but there is a high probability that it will become 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. So are you walking on a right path is what is more important, right? So, and whatever the design you will make, always you have to test it. And I am from the engineering automotive industry, so I fully know the importance of the test, right? So the any design has to be tested. There has to be a prototype, there has to be a pilot batch, then there has to be mass production. So without a prototype and without testing the prototype, then go for the samples, testing the samples, then go for pilot lot, right? Then you have to go for the manufacturing. Like that, any coaching program, you have to first test the design. How to do it? We are going to learn it. Don't worry, right? So it is always TG centric. Target group. What is your target client? What your target client pain point is? What are the goals of the target client and which goals you are going to serve? It is not that means target clients all problems you will solve, means your program or your intervention. Yeah, if it is an individual coaching intervention, yes, you can solve all the thing. But group coaching interventions have a specific agenda, specific topic. So you will solve one of the problems or you will help them achieve one of the goals, right? So that you need to clear on what. And that goal has to be the priority of the TG. Means that if it is your target group's 10th priority and you are creating a program on them, then you will take few years to get admissions and enrollments, right? That has to be on the top of the mind of that particular person. That also you are going to learn, not in this chapter, but in C5, right? So it is all TG centric. The design is always for a customer. It is not for a maker, right? This program I have not designed for myself. I have designed for you. So I am always thinking, okay, what can be the questions in your mind? What I must convey? Why I have to convey it? how it will help you now and in short term and the medium term and even in the long term. So the everything has been designed, every line in this content has been designed based on your needs. Sometimes you may not be clear on your needs now because you are yet to enter into the market, many of you, right? But we need to perceive, means for example, if the Apple, when they launched the, say, computer, it was not the customer insight. Customers never came to Apple. No, no, no. We are looking for some sleek laptop kind of thing. Right now, we are working on the desktops and all that. No, right? So it was a product innovation. So they, even when customers are not asking and there is no direct need from the customer, right? The Apple could create the want. They could excel in that particular development of the product, right? So when you think, or when I am also talking to you, it is not necessarily that some of the points you will appreciate now or you will need now, but I know if not now, in future you are going to need them, right? So you have to plan for flexibility in your interventions, in your design. Plan A, plan B, plan C. Sometimes depending upon the group, some kind of activities might not work. So you need to have the backup activity. You need to have the backup group discussion. So you have to always understand the essential and the non-essential part of the program. And depending upon the say participants inclination, you have to, of course, you have to go for the essential anyway, but in a non-essential, then you can change. For example, in GCCP, when I first launched the program, there were sessions on psychology, there were sessions on human psychology, attachment theory, right? So there were sessions on some coaching models as well, but they were non-essential. And what used to happen, especially in the very first few batches in 2020-21, that is the people used to get overwhelmed by the GCCP content. So many things they are learning. And then only they were thinking conceptually, and that practice was not happening. So I reduced the content of the program. I focus more on certain areas while I removed many part of the program. So as a designer, right, you need to be very clear what is must and what is good to have. That you have to know, and you have to flex aligned with the group needs. This is just an example I have given. If it is a leadership group, then anything related to the decision making, right, means you have to keep it. And anything which is sundry, good to have, you can flex on that particular part, right? So in a structure, don't overcomplicate the structure. Generally, I recommend a modular structure. Always design the programs in modules. For example, earlier the GCCP had 6 modules. But now what I have done, the 6th module, I have shifted to YML CMC. All the coaching business I am teaching in YML CMC. Why? So that I could reduce the duration of the GCCP. So what I have done, I have become more learner centric. Okay, learner wants to do the program quickly. What I can do and what I can't do. Coaching process, I must teach. ICF 8CCs must teach. Who am I? Not must. It is good to have. So earlier, we used to have 5 live sessions on who am I. That I reduced to 2 live sessions, and the 3 are now your assignments, homework. So this you can do if you are a designer. If you are not a designer, then you don't know which is must, what I have to do, where I can improvise. So when you design on a canvas, white canvas, then you are very clear on what you have done, what is the objective of this module, right? Then you can play with that particular module structure. You can create multiple programs from the same modules, right? Part 1, part 2, part 1, part 2, part 3, this module like this, or you can learn only this particular module. All this flexibility you can offer to the participant if the design is modular. right? It is like a means, for example, MG Rover. MG Rover is a car company, and they don't manufacture the parts like Ford, GM, and Tata and Mahindra manufacture. So they basically buy assemblies. So they work on a modular structure. Engine, there is a source. The entire engine will be assembled and given to them. Chassis, entire chassis, not entire chassis, the partial chassis assembled. The body, the partial body assembled. Transmission, a partial transmission assembled, and they basically do the assembly of the car and the finishing operations. So this is what MG Rover does, and you will see that their cars are not that high price as compared to the premier brands. Why? Because of the modular structure. So always go for the modular designs. Always break the programs, right? Part one, part two. Means these possibilities need to be there. Especially, I'm not saying you to say break workshops, right? Means, which are one day and the few hours. I'm not asking you to break that, but I am asking you to break the long-term interventions, right? So they need to be modular, right? So, and then of course means when the learners basically keep offering you the feedback. Means, for example, right now Vandana is not there, but in one of her feedback, she was mentioning that is we have to focus more on how and the practical things and all that. So that feedback I have to, means I'm just telling her name, right? So like that, whenever learners offer any feedback to us, right, we take that feedback sincerely. Sometimes it is implementable, sometimes it is not implementable. But are we taking the learners' feedback into cognizance? So sometimes we are in a position to implement it immediately. Sometimes it might take time. It might take to a few months or even year in some cases. But you as a designer need to be cognizant to get the initial feedback and to factor into the design. So this I am just telling you the mindset of a designer. So the mindset of a designer has to be flexible. The mindset of a designer has to test the design. The mindset of a designer has to create a modular design. The mindset of a designer is to seek feedback from the early users and implement that into the design. So these are just the micro level points, and we will deep dive into the aspect of the design. So how you will identify your TG? Now, depending upon your life experience, expertise, passion, strengths, you will decide on some TG. For example, if you are from a corporate background and if you are an executive coach, but in executive coaching, which level you will coach? Whether you will coach entry level managers or mid level managers or senior management, leadership level, whether you will offer services to all the industries or the industries in which you have expertise. If you are from IT industry, you can be executive coach for IT professionals at mid-level or at entry level. Now, this becomes your TG, that is target group. And it is very important. Means I give this particular example in one of my business sessions. That is, there is a town. In that town, there are 100 medical professionals. 100. 99 are general practitioners and above. That is GP and above. Specialists. 99. And there is one dentist in the town. Only one dentist. And you have a toothache. Will your decision making difficult? Where to go? You are very clear. That is the beauty of a TG. When you are working in a niche is very clear that they have to approach you. They don't have to think 100 times. Why? Because they know. For example, there are two executive. I'm from IT industry. There are two executive coaches. One coach has 25 years of experience, but he is from engineering industry. One coach has only 10 years of experience, but he is from the IT industry. Which coach I will choose? I will still choose the IT industry. Why? Because I feel that that person will understand what I am talking, right? My feeling and my problem. So I resonate more with my domain person, my domain experience person. I don't know that as a coach, I don't have to be domain expert. That is between the coaches and the coach educators, MML and you. The client doesn't know. For a client, client is looking for experts. Client is not looking for generalists. In today's world, everyone has access to expert and specialized services. Why I will go for a general executive coach? I will go for a executive coach who works at my level in my industry. That is the reason you must have TG, and you must have a clarity on the TG to the last possible level. Not only level, from which industry, not only from the industry and the level, which kind of goals. That is okay, means this TG might have 5 important goals, but I will work on this single goal. Work-life balance is my specialty. I'm just giving example. Now, if I have a challenge in work-life balance, and I will search and I will get your name that you are specialist in work and life balance. Oh my God, you have made my life easy, my selection decision making easy. For example, I'm just giving a hypothetical example. Somebody is looking for coaching education with who am I? With spiritual intelligence. Clear-cut choice MML. Clear-cut choice MML. Somebody is looking for a very structured program, professional program. Clear-cut choices MML. Right? But there will be some TG who may not be looking for spiritual intelligence, who may not be looking for a very structured program, who may not be looking for that professional approach, but maybe more informal and the personal approach. Then they will go to the another educator. So you have to understand your TG well, so that the TG appreciate you and the TG offer you business. So you must know the challenges of the TG, goals, desires, aspirations, demographics, psychographics, their priorities. So you identifying your TG is the first step in you designing any intervention, because you are designing for whom? Not for you. You are designing for a customer. You are designing for a client. So are you understand the client well? Not at a generic level, but at a very niche level, at the bottomest possible level, below the waterline. Then only you can design right products. Right. So this is the key. This I can go and I can give you many examples for this, but I think this is very obvious point, and no one should have any doubt in mind. That is, we are designing for a client, and the understanding client is essential. And the client, not in a very broad sense, but the client in a very specific sense, in a niche sense, right? Because you are designing that particular product for a niche. Why? Because if you don't design a product for niche and you design a product for the general market, you will not get customer. Do you know why you will not get customer? Because customer is looking for a niche product, for a special product. Your general product is giving me the result, but I have your general product and one specialized product. For example, right? I have a problem in heart, and I have 3 choices. The choice number 1 is a medical professional who has hard plus knowledge of 10 domains. Very experienced, means, but is means spread wide. There is another person who is heart as well as cancer specialist, and there is only heart specialist, reputed heart specialist. Do you know? I will only go for the heart specialist, because I don't want a person, right, with heart and cancer and some other things, because my need is very specific need. I just need an heart specialist, full stop. I will resonate more with only that niche. I will not resonate more with the other people. I also give one example, and you will understand from this particular example what I'm talking, because many of you have not attended my session on okay, no, I think all of you have attended my session on niche, right? All of you have attended my session on niche. Correct. So there I have means already conveyed. That is why that particular niche clarity is essential. Okay, so then I don't have to give that particular example. So what are the practical tips that define your audience to the bottomest level and identify their pain points and desired outcomes? Remember one statement: do not promote coaching. People don't identify with coaching. Promote solutions to the problems of the people. Promote support in achieving their goals. Coaching is just an intervention. If you start talking, I am some galaxy coach and some ultra transformation coach, it is all Hebrew for me. I am not resonating with what you are saying. I don't understand this language. I only know my problem. I only know my goal. You talk about problem and goal. Now I am listening to you. Right. But many people say, okay, I'm this coach and all that coach. And some coaches to give means post that is okay, what is coaching and all that. And, means you are means basically repelling the customers, because the customers will not understand what coaching is, what is Codap and all that, and this evoking awareness and client growth. They will not understand it. They understand problem solution and goal achievement, right? So always focus on the desired outcomes, right? The solutions, right? What your intervention will generate, the benefits to the client, what your intervention will generate, and also communicate that only. Design for that only, communicate that only. For example, if it is a parenting coaching, right, your design can include parenting styles, attachment styles, stress management, communication. So these are the few topics, right? So depending upon the TG, you will decide on the topics. Depending upon the TG's pain points and goals, you will decide on the topics and you will design the program, right, around them. Don't assume that one size fits all. Why? Because then it is training. One size fits all is training. We are talking about the group coaching. In a group coaching, there has to be that particular individual attention also. For example, in GCCP, there is a journey success coach. Journey success coach is offering you the individual attention. There is a mentor coach. Mentor coach also is offering the individual attention. So how you will balance between the group needs and the individual needs is the balance that will make you successful as a coach. So how we will decide on the model? So you already know that there are 8 models. And there is no hard and fast rule. I have only given you the generic guidelines. Okay, this model is a preferred choice in these criteria. That does not mean that the other model cannot fit in and vice versa. I'm not saying that. I have just given the generic guideline, right? Once you understand, once you are very clear on the client requirement, then the ball games becomes easy, right? Once the client requirement is clear, then you will choose a right model only, right? So what are the key considerations in choosing a model? What is the type of the TG and the TG's goals, TG's expectations? Whether the TG is expecting me to spoon feed, handhold, or the TG wants more freedom, right? If the more freedom means mastermind format, right? Workshop format, uh, offering more freedom. But if the more handholding is what the TG is expecting me, then program model, right? So mix model, right? So what is TG's learning style, right? If the TG is Attention span is very less. The TG is high flyer, a very busy professional. Then this long sessions, what I am conducting are not for it. Means I know that means this particular the way the program is structured is very difficult for visible professionals, right? So this is not a benchmark what you have to keep in mind, right? So there are variety of things. Again, budget. For example, budget is a constraint. Peer-to-peer model, because the peers will do the work. If the budget is a constraint, you can't go for a retreat model, because the expenses of the retreat model will be more, right? So there are variety of the considerations. There are variety of the practical aspect which will force you to decide on some particular model. So the choose a model that suits group type, entrepreneurs, senior management people, right? Junior management level, housewives, right? So you have to consider that the type of your TG is the first, then the size of the group, right? If you conduct a cohort of the 25 people to start with, I'm not saying the cohort of the 25 people can't be conducted, right? But smaller cohort is preferred. If it is bigger, then the program model is preferred, right? So like that, you need to say think before deciding on the model. Why? Because once you decide the model, everything will follow after you deciding the model in designing, right? Means, for example, if you are designing engine, and the first point is the power of the engine. If you have already decided that I want 300 bhp engine, now automatically the number of cylinders and the overall specs will change, right? So the engine power is the main consideration of the engine design. Like that, in your case, the type of the TG, the goal of the TG and the type of the TG will basically decide on your entire design process. And that is what is covered in the model, right? So like in engine design, the engine power is the main point. In the group coaching intervention design, selection of the group coaching model is the main point. Just I am simplifying the things. Don't select a model that will backfire, because there are few models, the implementation of those models is risky. Means, for example, a mastermind model. For example, if you don't have that kind of diversity in the group, don't go for mastermind model, because it will backfire. That kind of quality discussion will not happen, because that particular diversity and the experience of the people is less. Go for them cohort model, then don't go for mastermind model. But if you have some top shots, right, in your participants, then yes, then mastermind is all right. So there are some models, right, which need to be handled with care. Retreat model, logistics is very big, because the people get disturbed by the lodging and boarding, right? So that is the additional say responsibility. So unless you have that kind of budget and resources, don't go for the retreat model. Retreat model requires a team to manage it, right? In online, means a single person is sufficient, but in a retreat, the team is required, right? So the means, if you don't have resources and budget, right, retreat model will backfire, is the point, right? So generally, to start with, go for the smaller groups. For a larger groups, don't go for the intimate or sensitive topics, like, for example, emotional resilience, right? Because that requires people to come up with their stories and some kind of traumas or some kind of issues. That is not possible in a larger group. Means, for example, once I went to this particular landmark forum, and it was absolutely comedy show. It was a gathering of more than 100 people, and people were crying, and they were telling, and then the person was saying, no, now you immediately call that particular person and you must forgive them. You have to immediately inform your mother and father. All bullshit was happening, right? It was a wrong design of the program, right? So intense topic cannot be or should not be handled in a big group. It requires a small group. It requires a cohort, right? So these are few of the macro guidelines I am offering you in the uh, model selection. Now, structure of the sessions. This question was coming. So the structure has to be modular. There has to be module. Within module, there has to be sessions, preferably. Again, means for example, if your program is smaller, then the ball game changes. But if your intervention is a medium term intervention, right? So go for a module. So you need to be clear on the module and the flow. That is okay. First, I will say cover coaching process, then ICF core competencies, then I will go for the skill development of assessor level. I can't do the assessor skill development before ICF ceases, right? So there is a natural flow. So that natural flow has to be clear in the mind of the designer. So first is modules. What big topics I will cover, then how that flow will be there, then comes the session. So the session design is a third aspect. The session is a third point. First point is the fourth point. The first point is the overarching goal, objective of your intervention. Second point is converting that into a modular structure. Think about the modules. Then think about the flow. Which module comes first, which modules come second. Then design sessions. Then, of course, sessions, frequency, duration, structure, means whether there will be some ritual at the start, which is preferred. It creates a feeling of bonding when you go for a ritual. See why this all religions have rituals. That is the game of community development. That is the game of people coming together because of the ritual. So the ritual is not the game. Ritual is just a medium. The game is people following it similarly so that a community feeling comes. So when you start your group coaching intervention with some ritual, with some prayer, with some activity, right? It creates that kind of bonding. People think that, yes, we are a cohort, we are a group who work together and we follow some rituals. So it is good to have rituals at start and end, preferred. The group coaching session must have discussions, activities, debriefs, reflection. Again, this is not a group coaching happening right now. This is a training happening right now. Do not benchmark these sessions as a group coaching session. These are training sessions. You are undergoing a training on how to become a specialized coach, team coach, group coach. This is the training happening. But when you will conduct a session, right, you will conduct a session like a coach, means it has to be discussions, activities, and activities should not end at that. There has to be debrief on the activities. There has to be reflections, right? There has to be feedback at the end of the session or at the end of the module. That is okay, how you are taking it. Okay, means start, stop, continue, right? So these are the things what you need to keep in mind as a designer. So what are the key consideration? Build flexibility into the system, plan A, plan B. So I have this activity, which is more of a kinesthetic in nature, more of a action in nature. And I have this activity, which is more of a discussion or the intellectual in nature. Now, depending upon the type of the participants or a profile of participant for that batch, you can decide whether I will go for a kinesthetic hands-on activity or whether I will go for a intellectual discussion time activity. But for that, you need to have that options with you first, right? And then at a right time, you will bring forth that particular activity, which is more resonating with the group, current group. You can mix individual coaching with your group coaching program. You can make very effective hybrid programs. At starts, you conduct an individual discovery session. Then you go for group coaching. Last 2 sessions, you will again conduct individually with every participant, so that in a group coaching, many of their goals have been achieved, but few of the individual goals can be also achieved in the subsequent to individual coaching session, right? So these are all the design consideration. Like in that particular induction program, I said, okay, you can have a structured program, but the structured program can be followed with the individual coaching session. Who is preventing you? Individual coaching is going to help only, whether it is engineer or the manager or a CEO of a person, right? So like that, you need to think. Because if you don't think it, you will not offer it. Nah? Means the corporate is asking a proposal to you, but you are not integrating individual coaching. But if you are in a position to let corporate say no, no problem. Means you give two proposals to the corporate. Okay, one is a hybrid, wherein there is a program, there is a group coaching, and there is individual coaching. One is only program and group coaching. Of course, where there is individual coaching, the pricing will be higher. Let the corporate takes the final decision. But are you in a position to submit that particular offer? Why you shouldn't submit that particular offer to the corporate, right? So these are the key considerations in your designing any intervention. What are my practical tips? Again, very common sense, but still I must cover it because I can't assume that is just because it is common sense means it is very 100% clear. Always create a balanced structure between discussion and activities. Few people love discussion, few people love activities. They don't like that discussions much. So you have to balance. This is called a VAK. VAK is also at a superficial level, but okay, fine. So you have to create a balance. So you need to have the multiple types of activities, not only the discussion activities. Sometimes it has to be management game. Sometimes it has to be role play. Sometimes it has to be discussion. Sometimes it has to be discussion in a different format. Sometimes there is a story being told and then the people are reflecting on that particular story or metaphor. Like that, there need to be, means again, I'm talking about a medium-term program, or for example, you are conducting a full-day workshop. The full-day workshop can't have only discussions, right? There need to be different activities that you have to plan. So just I'm providing an example to start with. Go for a emotion check. Again, this is the example, right? Don't say that you must go. I'm not saying any must. I'm giving you a good practices. Now, depending upon the application, you have to choose some practices. You don't have to choose some practices depending upon the application and the need. So generally, you can start with emotion check, ice-breaking activity. Then you have to go for the alignment of the purpose of the session, which is called as outcome of CODAP. You already have the session agenda fixed. You have already given notes to the participant. Participant also know that, okay, we are going to discuss on point A today. But in spite of that, you can go for that particular alignment at the start. Okay, this is the purpose of the session. So what goals, right, you are having in mind, what expectations you are having in mind, so that now you are aligning participants on the outcome of the session. Right. So again, you have to follow CODAP. What is ice breaking? It is connection, right? So first you will re-establish connection. Then you will go for the outcome, alignment on the purpose of the session. Then you will go for the delivery, discussions, activities, which is evoking awareness. Then you will go for the action when they will reflect, right? They will reflect in what they can do, and then there is a progress monitoring mechanism, right? Whether it can be Trello board or some kind of visual mechanism or accountability partner or buddy system, right? Wherein that particular process. So the CODAP, whether it is individual coaching and group coaching, you will always follow CODAP. Don't overpack sessions. Like today's session is overpacked. We are covering 4 big topics today in a single day. This is called as overpack session. But this is exception. We know that is okay. Under special circumstances, we are doing it because this is the last live batch. I don't have time afterwards. From the January onwards, I am not going to conduct the live session of any specialization program. Right. So in the month of December, I am not available. In the month of November, I am having a retreat batch. I had only October month. And if in the October month, I have to cover team coaching and EI coaching and NLP coaching, I have to resort to this particular structure. So this was a compulsion on me. Do not consider it as a benchmark, right? So you have to spread it out. Do not overpack sessions. In a 60-minute session, the formula is at least 20 minutes has to be interactive exercises, at least. 50-50 is wonderful. But many times it uh, uh, means for me means it has been a challenge of going for 50-50 structure. So at least go for one third. One third of the time must be interactive exercises and activities. Right. So this is just a formula I am giving for the structure. I have not yet concluded the structure. I'm going to give you much more information on structuring. Right. After today, you will not have any question on how to structure my session, right? So don't worry on that. We have just started. Now you have to develop a content. Whatever is your intervention, right? So whether it is a workshop or whether it is a intervention to solve any problem or achieve any goal, right? You have to develop engaging content aligned with the participants' learning styles if possible. It is not possible every time because the content you develop once, okay, you can adapt some kind of delivery, some kind of adaptation, but 100% adaptation is not possible. But at least you know your TG, right? So is your content resonating with your TG's generic learning style? Senior people learn in different way, children learn in different way, homemakers learn in different way. So I'm talking about that generic learning style. Experienced people have the different kind of expectations from the learning. So when I say the engaging content means I'm talking about interactive activities, role playing, management games, practical exercises. Now in the today's chat GPT world, means you have to just ask chat GPT management game on this particular topic. And if you give the chat GPT some 4 or 5 times prompt, you will get the multiple options. From that particular option, you take the essence. Don't go it by because the chat GPT still is not that intuitively intelligent, right? That means it is just the collection of the information. But yes, it's a good start. From that good start, then you apply your mind, design principle, the objective of the program and all that, objective of the session, and then you improvise on that particular thing. I'm giving you the shortcut. What content people used to take months together to develop. Now, with the help of Chat GPT, you can develop in few days' time. Why you shouldn't take that particular benefit? Take that particular benefit, but do not copy paste that particular content. You have to apply that mind. You have to customize that particular content for your program. But yes, in today's world, it is so easy for you, right, to develop interactive activities or the management games or the practical games because it is at the fingertips. So do it, right? So have this battery of this particular variety of the activities with you for your program, for the intervention, what you are designing. I'm talking about the multiple, not only one, plan A, plan B, plan C, right? There will be some good to have activities. If I have extra time, I can conduct that. Yes, that extra activities also should be planned in advance. Case studies, examples. So what practical tips I can give it to you? So use varied contents. Do not go for only 1 or 2 types of contents. Case studies, role play, activity, group discussion, right? All that, it had to be mixture. Because why? Few people will like something, few people will not like something. You cannot please everyone 100% of the time. That can't be your intention in your life. You will miserably fail. But at least the participants, few participants for some time have to feel, oh my God, I'm enjoying this. Okay. So then I think you are thinking in a right direction, right? So example, role playing for the conflict resolution. Because there is no point in only giving role, you reverse the role. you reverse the role. Now, once you reverse the role, you start thinking from the other perspective, and then you understand it as soon as you reverse the role. Now, playing the role is just the game. Don't only rely on lectures, involve participants actively, right? So, this reminds me that is after this slide, I have to stop and I have to interact with you because you all have come after lunch and it's a Sunday lunch and I'm continuously talking. So there is a high possibility that you will go to the sleep. So I'm aware of that. So after this particular content slide, we'll take a pause and you can do reflection and you can ask questions. And means example here I'm giving, right? So now, for example, you are now conducting sessions on emotional intelligence, and there is some group discussion topic. Now you give some specific inputs. Now you discuss on this particular topic, right? But while discussing, take cognizance of these three principles of emotional intelligence. Now, this discussion has a guideline, has a framework that we have to discuss this within this framework. Now, this brings a interesting angle to the discussion, and it is not only a discussion on a topic, but it is a discussion on a topic in a framework, right? So now it's a pause, and what we have covered content, we have covered structure of the sessions. We have started. We are yet to complete the structure. We have covered the deciding on the model, and we have covered the TG. So on these four topics, any questions or the reflections before we move ahead? You can share your experience, ask questions, whatever it is. Yes, Akansha, go ahead. Wait, my speaker is on hibernation. Yes, now, okay.
So let's say this training that we are undergoing today, and we are also a mixed batch of people with different backgrounds. How have you, or what was your thinking beside doing these activities, or how did you synergize that for everybody, this activity or this structure, or all this works out?
Yes. So basically, what I did during the master class, I took some sense, right? So, for example, I remember you were thinking more from a structure of a session. That is how I have to time my session. So I kept that in mind, and few of the slides I have prepared based on your need, because I thought that okay, that need is a very practical need, and any newcomer must be wanting to know that is how I will structure my 60 minutes, 90 minutes, and all that, and what is the ideal thing. So it was not earlier part of my delivery, right? But then I created those particular few slides. Also, I know that the Pritesh is from a medical background, right? So when I'm giving examples, I am thinking about okay, so I don't
Okay.
have to only talk about the engineering, but I also have to talk about some medical professions, uh, something like that, right? So now Radha Krishna is a very methodical person, like a C person, right? So he will go for the data, numbers, and all that. Now the Edwin is from a totally different culture, and that culture is a very soft culture. Means the it's
Okay.
not a aggressive culture in Philippines, right? So now I have a understanding about the profile, right? So based on that particular profile, what I do before the session delivery, I prepare. Means you will not believe. Means what video you see it once, I have seen it hundreds of the time, because during the session when the video is played, right? Since you are watching, I also watch it again and again. And what I do that before the session, one day before the session, I think about the audience. I think about the participants. Okay, okay, he is the like, and okay, how can I improvise this particular content which will proactively answer few of their questions, if not all of them.
Okay.
And then I continuously update my content. Sometimes it is the updation of the content on the slide, sometimes I keep in my mind that is okay, I have to use this reference or use that example, right? Then again means uh, how it basically happened with the mastermind life, because we are basically educator, means we are a university level educator. For us, this is a very small program, and this is the tiniest of the program. I don't think there is any smaller program in mastermind life than this particular program, because we are coming from that degree mindset. So generally we go too deep into concepts. But now at a senior level, at a practicing level, you are also might not be looking for that too conceptually. You are looking for more hands-on approach, how to do it, right? Tools, techniques, tips. So now, if you see in this particular delivery, I'm offering you many tips, and means at the end of the day, when I will give you the list of website, therein you will understand which are the membership site, right? And there are variety of the tools and techniques. So now, based on the TG, which is more experienced professionals who can understand the concept better by even reading the course study guide, and I don't have to invest my and their time into the conceptual discussion. I am taking the discussion at a practical level, at a tips level, right? At a very specific things I am giving. But okay, when I give the specific, it can be misunderstood by you, like in the activity, right? You thought that the program model means long term only and not short term. So I am aware of that. That is my specific
Okay.
talking might generate this particular problem. So now I have this particular thought in my mind that I have to check whether the people are taking it literally. So that I am aware. That is what kind of audience I am having, right? And based on that, I am flexing my style. But is this flexing enough? In my opinion, no. In my opinion, no. We can still flex more. Whatever this program right now I am delivering, right? Any one of you, including me, can deliver it in a much more interesting way. So we have to keep thinking on this. Means I'm thinking, means I'm not happy. Means I'm not sad. Means I'm offering you value. I am means assuring you 100x ROI, but I'm talking the delivery. Can it be delivered in a much more interesting way? Answer is yes. And unless I think in that particular direction, I will not improve. So I will keep improving the delivery of this particular program. I'm not saying this particular program, because this particular program I'm converting to the video learning, but I'm talking about mainly the GCCP, right? In GCCP, for example, right now we are teaching the competencies, but can we develop the competencies in a much more interactive way during the sessions, right? Because the competencies you can read on ICF website, right? For that, the faculty don't have to take much of the time. So now I'm thinking, okay, how can the ICF 8 core competencies can be taught in inverted commas? It is not taught, but can be taught in a much more interesting and interactive way, evoking awareness in you, not one-sided delivery, but evoking awareness. Oh my God, now I understood. Okay, this is what I have to do. So now I'm thinking on that. Now I have asked help from my faculty. I have more than 50 international faculties on board. No one is in a position to give me ideas. In life, always remember, तूच आहेस तुझ्या जीवनाचा शिल्पकार. You only have to do it finally. I am very clear. No, no problem. I have means requested everyone, motivated everyone, tried to inspire everyone, compensate everyone. Nothing is happening. Now I will do it. In 1 year, you will see that I would have transformed this particular core competency sessions in GCCP. Like that, I will continuously evolve my program, and that is the mindset I want all of you to have. Never be satisfied with your current status, because current status is not the best status.
Sir, I have one more question. In these breakout rooms, when you come for the observation or spend time with each of the breakout rooms, what is that your takeaway or your purpose of doing that?
Yeah, so the purpose of that means many times how it happens, huh? The sometimes people do not understand the activity well.
Okay.
So when I'm in the group, then means I'm in a position to tell them, okay, means you go in this direction.
Okay.
Not a specific thing, but at least I give them the direction. But if you are already discussing in a right direction, right, then for me also it is learning, right? You are all experienced professional, you are discussing on that topic, from that particular topic I will also learn few points. Okay, so this point they are discussing, I think this particular point I should keep in my main content, which is not there right now. So for me, there are multiple purposes. The number one purpose is basically to see that whether the group is discussing in a right direction. Number two is there any learning potential for me. Number three, if the discussion has any ambiguity, I sense that ambiguity, and then my delivery, I basically
Okay.
manage that particular ambiguity, because I know that during the discussion there was unclarity in your mind, or you were thinking in a wrong direction. So sometimes I will pinpoint, but majority of the time I will not pinpoint, but I will keep in my mind that is in my delivery I have to now cover this particular aspect, so that this confusion will not be there, like that.
Uh, Edwin is raising his hand, but I have one more last question. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, okay,
Yes.
okay, please. Yeah,
Uh, Sir, as you mentioned a few while ago, that executives have very limited time span because of
yeah,
their busyness or
yeah,
whatever. So,
yeah.
if let's say your product is something to do with that segment of society, how
Mhm.
would you time that, or in terms of effectiveness of the sessions per session program, given their limited time span? What would be your take on that?
uh, I think if you ask me, for a senior professionals, the session time should be 45 minutes.
Okay.
Anything which is more than 1 hour, right, is not great. Now, I'm not I'm not in a position to design it.
Hmm.
I am also having a learning curve. See, I am an old man with a mindset, and I have come from a very studious background. Means as a student I was very studious, then I become educationist, so I have this particular habit of going into the depth of the matter and everything, explaining everything too deeply and all that. But many times it is not necessary, right? The people are looking for a very smart ideas and the smart tips and all that, right? And I don't think the people have now the patience of okay stretch even 1 hour session. Right?
Okay.
So if you keep, but it is not possible in the group coaching. Again, it is not possible. Is my mindset. This is not the truth.
Yeah.
My perception says that it is not possible in group coaching, but it might be possible in a group coaching also, right? But the less the intervention time, session time, not intervention, the intervention can be long, the less the session time, better it is.
Okay.
The more the session time, I think it is difficult for a facilitator to engage learners. It is also difficult for the learners to comprehend and remember so many things. For example, now in the C1, right? So we talk about the group dynamics and all that. But you shared the two things, and then you said, okay, other than these 2 points, I can't remember more reflections. Why? Because in that particular time span, do you know the maximum 3 points is what the person can retain? In any
Okay.
continuous intervention, maximum 3 points, not more than 3 points. But now in my delivery, I'm covering 10 points. So it is not a perfect design. I have a good intention. What is my good intention? No, no, no. My learners have to get maximum from the session. I only have 2 days. In the 2 days, I have to give them the maximum things so that they are there on own and they will become successful coaches. So my intention is good. But whether that particular intention will actually convert into practice, right? I don't know, because whether you are having that much attention for the entire day, during the day, during the session also, each chapter I am delivering for say 1 hour. Within the 1 hour, I am covering 10 points. You are remembering only two.
Okay.
Right? So how to go for the micro deliveries? 10-minute session after 10-minute break. In the 10-minute, cover only single topic. Okay, break. Okay, again come. Cover only single topic. Discussion on the single topic, again break. In this direction, you start thinking. Right. So how can I contract the delivery time? How can I go for the digestible bits?
Bit size.
Lesser the bit, better it is.
Okay.
Even the Insta 30-second, the reel also, people will put finger on that particular line to forward it. 30-second. 30-second also people are finding, oh my God, okay.
Next,
The
what
point.
next?
That is the thing now. The world is changing, and we as a designers have to take cognizance of that change. I am changing. I am not yet changed, but I am changing, and I am recommending you to go for the smaller bit sizes in your design process.
So in that case, that applies to everybody. Why only senior professionals? Like,
Yes, yes, yes. Applies to everybody, right? So not only senior professionals. Yeah,
I
agree.
think I'm good.
Agree.
Thank you.
Yeah. Even the with youngsters, even it applies more, because they are more faster than us. Yeah, why not? Yeah, they are also looking for a micro bit size, not only smaller bit size. Yes, yes,
Okay.
Edwin? Yeah, yeah,
Thank you so much, sir.
yes, Edwin.
Okay, yes. Just want to know, get a tip from you. This is focusing on the target group. If the target group says we need to be coached in a certain topic, but upon diagnosis you believe that that's not the actual um, case, or that's not the actual problem, do you go with their agenda, or how do you handle that? How do you? Yeah.
Always remember, all agendas are fictitious. You have to always serve the purpose. For example, if someone comes to you with a problem, right? So it is not the stated problem which might be the real problem. Somebody might state you goal. It might not be the stated goal which is the real goal. The what is important is motive. What is important is the root cause of the problem. So in your coaching, you go to the root cause of the problem and you go to the motive of the goal, and then you coach. But this is between you and me. For that particular person, you are solving his problem only. For that particular person, you are solving his goal only. But you are doing it in a different way, wherein the final solution will solve his stated problem also, na?
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we
I have
will.
one question, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
While deciding the model, is there any matrix can be formed, which is the best suited model for the coaching?
Yeah. So there is a matrix or a comparison between the models given into the coach study guide. So
Okay.
every model and the characteristics, applicability, and all that. So there is a model. But again, see, always remember, you have to understand the why behind the rule and the models. For example, there is a model called as CODAP. What you will do is, you is not Radha Krishna. I'm just giving an hypothetical. What a individual will do, CODAP, C is connection, C is connection, C is connection, O is outcome, O is outcome. We will buy heart that particular model. Okay, first I will go for connection, then I will go for outcome. Okay, in the outcome there are 4 PCC markers. Then I will go to discover. Then I will go the why analysis, root cause analysis. This is at a level 2. At level means level 2 is a lower level. Higher level, the level 1, you will see, okay, why connection? Why outcome? We have to finalize at the start. Why we have to evoke awareness? Why we have to go to the root of the problem? Why is the motive of the goal? Why the end has to be action? Once you know it, why? Now you cannot forget CODAP sequence. Forget about the CODAP is easier to remember, even if it is a complicated thing. Larputs. Larput ZB is the short form. Larput ZB. Now it is difficult to remember. But you know why L comes first. You know why Z comes last. Now you can't. So always understand it in the depth. So don't go for any means. See, do you know the danger of following the rules and the given guidelines without understanding them deeply? That is, instead of a program model, you went for a mixed model. I'm not saying mixed model is wrong or something like that. But what you factored? Hemant said that the program model is for the long term, but this is only a few days intervention. So you deleted program model from the competition itself. Right. Why? Because you took the rule literally. You have to understand the logic behind the rule. Why program model is more suitable for long term? Once you know that because it is a structure model, right? So when you are talking about the structure model, generally the structure is applicable for the long term things, right? More that, but that doesn't mean that it can't be applied. So once you understand this rule, once you understand the why, once you understand wherever it is applicable, now you are in a position to better make a decision. Why? Because in a real life, you have to make a decision based on a specific case. Are you coaching for the model or are you utilizing model for the coaching is my question. Radhakrishna, are you coaching for the model or are you utilizing model for your coaching?
Utilizing model for the
Right. So the model is a tool and the guideline. Model is not your boss. You are the boss of the model. So you will decide. You can create the ninth model, which is not being taught to you. But you think that no, this model is a right model for this particular case. Please invent that particular ninth model. Because our objective is not model. Our objective is achieving the outcome for that little group. What is the way in which that particular outcome can be achieved efficiently, effectively, frugally, engaging way is your lookout. Based on that, then you take a call. So go behind everything. Go for the why everything. Of course, guideline is there, right? But don't follow guideline blindly is my point, right? So always go for the objective. Okay, means, for example, there are so many rules. But sometimes you think that no, in this particular situation, I need to break the rules. Please break the rule. Because ultimate, you be married to the ultimate objective. Ultimate objective of your client is the final North Star. For that particular North Star, you will basically adjust all the models and all the guidelines what I am providing. What I am providing is now going to give you the structure, a better understanding so that you can invent your own game. No problem. But to invent your own game, whatever is needed, that I am giving you all the information. What information I am giving you, 80% of your work will happen by just following my 8 models and all my, tools, techniques, and tips. But in 20% of the case, you have to reinvent because it is too situational, too specific. Please go ahead and reinvent that. Don't worry. Client's outcome is paramount. For that, you can flex anything other than the core principles of the coaching. Right. Just because the client wants everything in the coaching session, you start advising and mentoring and all that. I'm not talking about that. Right. You meet the client's objective in a principled and ethical way, is what I'm saying.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
So when we will start for the first time, so we need the people, right, for a group. So for these all models, we should have already designed kind of thing.
No.
Because otherwise, first people will not come without.
No. People don't come for a model. This model is between
Yeah.
you and me. People will come for the benefit you are offering, the problem you are solving, the goal you are helping them achieve. How you do it, right, is secondary for them. They will approach you if they think puja can solve the problem, right? So you have a methodology to solve the problem. You will attract clients for solutions, right? Once you attract client, for example, you have a cohort model. Cohort model is suitable for, say, up to maximum 12 people, for example. Okay, as soon as you get the 12 admission, you start your cohort. Nah? More admissions, start another cohort, right? So don't worry on the group sizes and all that, right? So it is up to you. So when to start the program and all that, it is again up to you. So you are not attracting the people for the models or the structures or the sessions. You are attracting people for the benefit what they will get. For that particular benefit, for that particular TG, you have already decided on a model. You already know that is, I am going to conduct this intervention in a cohort way. Of course, if the client specifically wants a different kind of intervention, retreat and all that, then you are having an open mind. You are not saying, no, I cannot deliver any other model and I can deliver. No, no. But you already have a standard solution available in a cohort model. Now, if the clients want specific program to be developed and all that, yes, you are okay for that. But this intervention, normally I am doing it in a cohort way, and this model is ready. If you want any change in the delivery and the pattern and structure and all that, I am all right to do it, because ultimately we are interested in the final outcome and not the methodology. Right. Now, how to acquire clients and all that is a part of the C5, right? Yes. Yeah.
So because my question was like, because depends on the people's experience, and uh, the problem is same for the group.
So you are targeting only those. You are not targeting the 7.5 billion people. You are targeting your niche only. That is the game only. So you have to start with your TG. You have to attract clients only from your TG, for which the program is developed. You are not going to attract from the age 1 to age 100 client. You are not going to attract a client, right, who is from a totally different psychographics and demo. So you have your ideal client. So I'm going to teach you what is that ideal client. You will attract only those clients. For those clients, you already know their problems and goals. For those clients, you already have minimum one solution ready. You are flexible in your methodology, delivery, and facilitation, but you already have a one group program ready. So once you attract them, you present them. That is okay. Now I am going to deliver a please consider it, it's a corporate client. If it is a life coaching client, then they are not interested in discussing, right? So they will join your program. If it is a corporate client, they will ask you, no, we want this, we want this. Okay, fine. By keeping the objective same, you will say adapt your model to the needs of your customer and you will deliver the program. You always attract your TG. For that TG, you have designed the program which is ready with you.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Group activity design, which is a part of the content. So you must design engaging activities. Again, I'm going to give you links and all that for that at the end of the day. Also, they are there into the course study guide. So the idea is to balance content and interaction, both. Now, what practical tips I can offer? Because I was also thinking for the what practical tips I can offer. So you need to have a battery of the exercises, and sometimes, if not always, because always may not be practically feasible, but sometimes you have to ask, okay, now we are going to basically understand this particular topic, and in this particular topic, I have one management game, or we can discuss in the group or a group. Just I'm giving one example. Now the client will say, no, 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 we want to play management game. Okay, no problem. So now what you have done, you have engaged your participants in the decision making. Now they feel more connected with that activity. Why? Because they have selected that activity. So sometimes you have to do it. If possible, you please do it. Right? You have two types of activities, and tell them, okay, either you can have a role play, or you can have a group discussion. Right, so something like that. Okay, then they will say, no, 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 not role play on this. I think group discussion all right. Okay, no problem. Group discussion. Right. So this is one a smart way I'm giving, and it has many repercussion. So automatically, since they have taken that decision, their engagement, they will be accountable to that activity. Okay. So, but at the same time, do not overload people with the activities also, because many people feel that also bored. So there has to be the percentage, right? So activities in the tune of say 20-30% is all right, right? Unless it is a workshop. In a workshop, then your activity percentage can be even higher. But in a structured program, if everything is activity only, then people will think, oh my God, what is happening here? Because we are only playing games and having activities, but I really don't think that is there is some content here. That is also a problem. So always you balance the content and the activities. Okay. For example, means I have just given this example. If it is a communication training, so during one session, one role play is all right. But every 10-15 minutes, you are going for a role play, and in a 1 hour session, there are say 4 role plays. Now, means that is not an appropriate design. So the appropriate design is okay, one type of a say activity once during the session, right? So like that you have to think. So these are my few of the tips. Now milestones. That is, I'm talking about now the progress monitoring in the CodeApp, right? So you have to establish some kind of monitoring checkpoints. They can be at the end of the session. They can be, say, after the end of 2 sessions, 3 sessions, after end of 1 month, whatever is that. And you celebrate the success. Let people feel, oh my God. So what we are achieving is getting celebrated. That inspires them. That motivates them. You need to have some progress monitoring mechanism. There has to be some expectation setting about the progress. The participant should not think that is okay, I was black color while taking admission to this particular program. At the end of the program, I will become white color. Now, this expectation is not going to be made. So you have to have a practical expectation, boss. It's a 2 days workshop you are joining. You are 50-year-old. Nothing has happened to you in 50 years. In the 2 days, you will become Buddha or what? Not possible, right? So have this realistic expectation setting, because many times people come with some extraordinary expectations which are not genuine, right? So, but have this culture of celebration. Whenever there is some progress shown by the group members, celebrate that particular progress, right? So that is the point I want you to take away. Right. Okay. So these are all some examples. So don't set vague goals. Because of course, now it is the common sense in the corporate language. So this smart and all that, they have publicized so much. First, the goals itself are fictitious. Even you go for smart, fart, and whatever is that, nothing is going to happen. But okay. So don't set vague goals at least. Right. Go for some specific goals. Yeah. See, it is not the goal, it is the motive, right? But okay, fine. Continuous improvement, as I already told you, right? Your every program delivery has to be improvement over your last program delivery. Your every session has to be improved over your last session delivered. That's it, full stop. That is the rule, right? Rule you have to follow. Every time I will continuously improve. And how I will improve? I will benchmark. market and competitor intelligence, what I'm going to cover in C5, and I will continuously seek feedback from the participants, continuously. But of course, participant feedback also never take at a face value, but take their feedback, not at a face value, but take their feedback, process the feedback, reflect on the feedback, take the essence of the feedback and implement the essence, not what they are saying. Because their level of understanding may not be equal to your level of understanding. They may not know the variety of the other aspects of the program and all that, what you know, right? But that doesn't mean their feedback is useless. But you have to process the feedback intelligently. Otherwise, you will be like that story of that particular donkey and one child and one man, right? So there is a story, you go to that story, because people will always tell you, oh, this is not right, this is right. Okay, boss, if you start listening to everyone, right, your program will be a bad movie wherein there is some kind of comedy, some kind of action, some kind of love. Now that formula will not work. Gone are the days, right? So in the earlier Hindi movies, every 10-15 minutes the comedy will come. Right. So it's a fixed structure of a movie. Now that format will not work. So don't think that is okay. Whatever the participant will say, I will listen to them. You will go mad. Your programs will go haywire. Right. Take the essence, process the feedback. So what practical tips I can give? Start, stop, continue. Feedback means start, stop, continue. What should we continue? What should we stop doing? And what new things we can implement. Always take feedback in this particular manner, process the feedback, and then implement the essence. Don't ignore the feedback. Why? Because sometimes what they are saying is not right, but their feeling is right. Their emotions are right. Get that emotions. Okay. What solution they are proposing is not right. But the cause of the solution, but the cause of what they are saying, I have to now go to that particular cause and address that particular cause so that they don't feel this way, right? So their feedback will give you insights from the variety of the ways, and not only what to do on what they are saying, but why they are saying in the first place. What kind of experience they have got resulting into their feeling this way. Then you go to the root. And then in the root, the solution is totally different. Solution is what not they are asking you to do, but the solution is something different. So that you have to do it. Logistics and technology. So you, of course, now we are using Zoom, Teams, and breakout rooms is common sense. It is no more a technology. These are the hygiene factors for the online coaching. So always consider that you will have a global participation. If your program is in English, if your language is English, and if your TG is, what is TG? TG is demographics and psychographics. It is available globally. Why you have to think about only your city or country? Now, since you are thinking globally, you have to have a staggered session times. You need to have options. Okay, I can conduct it in the early morning India time also. I can conduct it in the evening time also, so that it suits US also and all that. So like that also, as a designer, you have to think so that you are in a position to attract those. Now, I will tell you, many times ICF gives me the town hall meeting. So there are some meetings for the coaching educators, and it is early morning 4 a.m. in India. Now that is a waste communication for me, unless it is extraordinary some topic. Why I will get up at 3:30 and join meeting at 4 a.m. So while sending that link, ICF has to understand, ICF as an example I'm giving, right? That agency has to understand, okay, I am sending this particular link to a person living in India. Is this a right time for that? So you need to have, but for example, if that link has two options, XYZ GMT this time XYZ GMT, this time, and one time is 4 a.m. India, one time is 5 p.m. India. Now, do you know what I think? I think, yeah, this session is for me. Why? Because the time are suitable to me. Now I get attached to that particular session. I think it is a communication to me. So when you design, whether you have the foreign participants or not, but if you design the program by thinking that you will get foreign participants, right? And if you design, structure, and publicize the times which are suitable for the global audience, you will see step by step, you will start getting global admissions. Why? Because they will resonate. Okay, I think it is manageable for me. This seems to be for me, right? And go for more and more visual platforms like a Trello board or anything which shows things visually, more visually. Means anyway, on online, PowerPoint is also a visual document. But the PowerPoint, in my opinion, is a static document. Nothing is happening here. It is just one background and some kind of too many words are there. It is not creating any fun or any enthusiasm in me, right? You are only listening to me because you are thinking, okay, there is some value, boss, means I will get some business if I learn from this. So you have a compulsion to learn. But you may not enjoy. It means you don't have a childlike enthusiasm to engage in a session. So these kind of visual elements, because human brain is basically visual. Whether you are VAK, forget about that. But basically humans are visual. So any visual element, visual action happening, right? So the people like. So just try to go step by step towards more visual elements, more graphics, more infographics. Now see, my slides don't have infographics. They are only words, right? But if the same content I will convert into infographic. Why? Because I have made this content recently, means the content itself, because I was thinking for the last 1 year, researching for the last 1 year. Now, in future, right? So now I will make the videos based on this only. But in future, I will change this particular content to the infographics so that people will like seeing it on the screen. So you have to think in that direction. What practical tips I can give to you? Use user-friendly technology. Means, for example, if you are dealing with a higher age bracket, don't go for too much technology platform. Google Meet and all that, the simple platforms are used, because many times people even face challenges in operating Zoom. I'm talking about a certain age bracket, not the youngsters and the middle age, but the people in their 50s and 60s struggle even for a Zoom. So you have to basically select your platform based on your TG. Okay. So with this, first we will go for group activity. So we are around 2:55. Are we on time? Okay. Yeah, not problem. So 15 minutes here and there is what our current situation is there. We can still manage. So what is the group activity? Because after this also some content is there, which I will cover after your group activity. So you have to make a 90-minute session plan. Consider that you are delivering a group coaching session of a 90-minute duration in which there are 8 participants, and that particular TG is career break woman, the woman who have taken a career break. So this is the TG, 8 members. And that session's topic is navigating career transitions. You have already given them some pre-read material. So they have, means most of them have come prepared about the how to navigate the career transitions and all that. And now this is the status. And now to that participants who have already read the notes, you are delivering a 90-minute session. Delivering means planning. Delivering means it is not that you are only doing it. So what is the outcome of this activity? A session plan of 90 minutes. What you will do for how many minutes? First activity, for our first structure point, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever is your creativity, right? But all total should come as 90 minutes. This is the activity.
Thank you for Akansha for doing a great job today. So I just have to, just in case I am not able to say that later. Thank you, Akansha. Lifesaver.
I second what Edwin is saying.
Thanks.
We're here to support.
Thank you.
Yes, so we can start with Akansha and then we will move to another group. So please be crisp when you are saying, I'm only interested in knowing the structure of 90 minutes. I'm not interested in the details of what will happen inside. I'm only interested in the broad structure. Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Sir, actually, what we thought of as a group is the structure starts with the introduction between the team members of the coach and of the team members, wherein the idea can be to be getting familiar with each other, being at ease, being vulnerable, what worked out well during their career transition, didn't work out well, what are they, all those things in the ice breaking session. Moving forward to that, in terms of our coaching program, also we understand CC3 establishing and maintaining agreement in the first session, discover chemistry may be very important. So that can be run up as an activity itself, where people in the breakout room itself decide what is that their pain areas and what is it that they're looking from this coaching session, and answers to like what are the few things that they would want to be addressed. One important activity that can also be done by the group, how they see themselves after this transition. So to build some motivation, some excitement that these few things, if they address, what they would look like. And then creating a Mentimeter out of the group's representation and whatever they say, to pick out the keywords that came out so that it aligns with the outcome, goals, problems, and challenges of the entire group, so that it's on the face of everybody to reflect on. And then closing would be, though we couldn't discuss some of the thoughts, I would extempo put it out, was uh, uh, should be a note of summarization and celebration by the group coach facilitator on all the topics.
How is the breakup of time? That is, you have to give me the.
Okay, first 10 to 15 minutes we will spend on breaking the ice introductory session, then running each of the CC3 in parts by the coach putting up the question, people in the breakout room discussing each of the 4 questions of CC3, and then the group presenting that, and the group coach summarizing that. In the end, another 15 minutes summarization and celebration by the group coach. Pritesh, Mitu, Edwin, does that sound okay?
Yeah, I think we can just say 10 minutes for the introduction, then maybe 40 minutes for that middle session, which you are saying with the, people sharing trust, vulnerability, all that stuff. And then, so that's 50 minutes. You could spend like 20 minutes for the breakout rooms, and then the last 10 minutes, I think that there could be 10 minutes in between. So 45 minutes for the session, 10 minutes for the initial thing. If there are some burning questions, 5-10 minutes in the middle, then they go to the breakout rooms, and then you wind up with 5-10 minutes of reflection or any other further questions.
Okay, so I got what you are saying, and yes, there is some clarity in your mind, and we will bridge the gaps if any. Good, thank you. So next group.
Pooja, you are going to present?
So we have divided the whole session into 90 minutes. We tried actually. We
Yeah.
couldn't do the whole, but
Okay.
first rules and roles. For that we have defined 5 minutes. And then for the structured introduction means we have a format like, okay, which background you are coming from, why you have taken the career break, and this kind of predefined format can be there to avoid to go into the more detail. So for that we can have for 15 minutes. Session goal establishment, uh, that what the participants will achieve at the end of the session. That is like 5 minutes. Then we have a set of questions. For example, 5 questions are there. Uh, Facilitator will ask the question and the participant will write their own answer. And based on these 5 questions, at the end of the answering the five questions, they would have some reflection, and they would have some answers for their questions. Then we have a breakout room. So evoking awareness was like 15 minutes. And then we have breakout rooms. So the whole group of people will be divided in 2 or 3 breakout rooms, and they will discuss their uh, whatever answers they came with to learn in a group. And then after coming from the breakout room, the each group presenter will represent their summary of the learning of that small group. This way, the whole group will also learn. And at the end, the facilitator will summarize, and the the other things can be given, and then the ending thing,
Uh,
closing session. So
ending,
evoke, yeah.
ending is what? Ending.
So we couldn't reach to there. Yeah.
No problem. Okay, so I got your point. So not bad. So both the groups, I think, have done good. And now I will present you my recommendation of a model session. So this is my recommendation depending upon the situation. This is not a writing on wall, right? This is not a writing on stone, but this is a overall say idea depending upon the situation. Please flex, right? So don't consider it as a hard and fast rule, but let me share with you quickly, and then thereafter we will take break of 10 minutes. So this you already done. So what is the model group session for this particular case? What is this particular case? That is, it is not the first session. It is a continuing session in which this is one of the session. So there is no question of we discussing group norms and role at the start of the session. Why? Because this is in continuation. Group roles and norms we discuss only in the very first group coaching session. This is a session in between. So this is a 90-minute session. So what we will do, first 15 minutes, now I am going to give a plan. Out of the first 15 minutes, first 10 minutes is basically CODAP connection phase, check-in question, ice-breaking activities, right? Everything will be part of this first 10 minutes. You have to assert confidentiality and respecting the diversity at the start of every session. Like the ICF CC1, right? You talk about the confidentiality and privacy. Here also you will talk about the confidentiality and respecting the diversity because it's a group coaching. You can use some kind of tools like a poll everywhere, which I have already shared on the group. So these are the few technologies that you can effectively use in on online platform, right? So this is the first 10 minutes. Next 5 minutes is basically agenda overview. What is the difference between individual coaching, outcome setting, and this? In an individual coaching, right? The coachee has come up with the outcome first time during the session. So you have to go into the depth of that particular outcome, and there are 4 PCC markers. You have to reconfirm that. You have to talk about the success criteria. You have to talk about how it is meaningful. And also you have to talk about what coach is already doing. Here it is different. Here the outcome of the session is already declared. The agenda is very clear. What you have to do, you have to realign people with the agenda. That's it. So it's a very small activity. The 4 pointers are not applicable in a group coaching. They are applicable in individual coaching, but in a group coaching, right? Agenda overview. Realignment of the session objectives is needed. That is, yes, you have already come prepared by reading navigating career transitions, and now we are going to focus on this particular 3 aspect, right? Are we all aligned? Yes, we are all aligned. Why? Because here, why it is not an open-ended question, because the agenda is already closed, na? So you can't ask now open-ended question. Okay, now you tell me what is your goal of the session. Now everyone will say something. Your entire 90 minutes will go into the discussion of individual goals only. So the group goal is already decided, right? So, and maybe you have to ask a question. Okay, so by the end of the session, what is your expectation? Few of the participants can respond. So there is a overall expectation setting, and there is a realignment or the reconfirmation, not alignment actually. Alignment is a good diplomatic word, but basically it is a reconfirmation. That is, yes, we are on the same board. We are going to discuss that. So this is the CODAP outcome, which is a very quick phase in the group coaching, because the nature of the group coaching is the agenda is predetermined, right? So this is the fin. Okay. Yeah, don't overload, means it will naturally come. So first 15 minutes are opening and outcome realignment. This is the first 15 minutes. Connection and the outcome realignment. Then next 40 minutes. So first is interactive content delivery or the facilitation from the coach. What coach will do now? Coach will first facilitate the topic navigating career transition. How coach will facilitate? The pre-read is already given. Now coach will share case studies, examples, and success stories to evoke awareness. Coach is not going to talk technical training aspects of the career transition, right? Reading material is already there. Now coach will share stories, case studies, examples. This is the contribution of the coach. And what is the objective of this? Objective of this is to evoke awareness. They have already prepared something, but now I am further evoking awareness with the contribution from the coach. So this is the value addition from the CODAP in CODAP Discover. CODAP Discover is not yet complete. This is the coach role in CODAP Discover. Keep it practical. Don't do it like a training way. This is not a training session. This is a group coaching session, right? So this is the first part of the central 40 minutes. Next part is the breakout room, group discussion. Of course, means I'm giving here example of group discussion. It can be game, role play, as per the situation warrants. Here it is, since there are 8 participants, we are dividing them into the 2 breakout rooms, 4 participants per breakout room. What they will discuss? They will discuss challenges, upskilling needs, and opportunities related to career breaks and career relaunch. So there are not only challenges, there are opportunities also. So people have to think about the opportunities also. Now they are in a better position to change their career paths, which earlier it was difficult because they can't change. But since now they have taken a break, they can reskill into some different domain and get another opportunity which was not possible earlier. So there is an opportunity always. In every adversity lies an opportunity. So you are channelizing the discussion not only in a problem way, but the upskilling way, but the opportunity way. Right. So this is the agenda what you are giving for a group discussion. They are going to do the group discussion. Right. During the group discussion, of course, there are roles already. There is a moderator and all that. So they will take care of the round robin and they will take care that no one will dominate the group discussion. Right. So this entire phase is discover. So some discovery will happen due to the coach contribution. Some discovery will happen during their group discussion, breakout room. So these are the middle 40 minutes. Now you will go to the reflection and action plan, which is the next 25 minutes. What will happen now? There are 8 people, right? So you will devote, say, around 15 minutes time for the reflection. Every participant will reflect from minimum 1 to maximum 2 minutes, because they can't reflect for more than 2 minutes, right? 8 into 2 is 16. So the 2 is the upper cap. So they will reflect. Coach has already shared. Afterwards, they have already gone for a breakout room. What is their take, learning and takeaway from both the things? The last 40 minutes is what they will share in 1 to 2 minutes. But when they will share, they will not share conceptually. They will share based on their what actions they can take. So these are the actionable learning, not conceptual and intellectual learnings. Okay, in the world, the female have to do this, and no, nothing. What you are going to do, right? That is the way they will convey their reflections. Now, what coach will do after listening all the reflections, right? Coach will basically summarize the common thread. There will be common thread. People are sharing. There will be 2-3 common points which are the central theme of the reflections. Coach will just summarize them, right? Of course, when they will do the reflection, the timer in the group will play important role, because when people will reflect, they don't know the time management. They will keep talking. Okay, now I will tell my story. In my life, this has happened and that happened. Then finish. Your 15 minutes will go for a toss. So it is a job of a timer to give them a warning at 1 minute. 1 minute is over, and a hard stop at 2 minutes. Why? Because it is 90-minute, understand. It is otherwise not possible. Otherwise, you can't give justice to everyone. If the only few people will reflect and not everyone will reflect, because the reflection is directly related to the action. So everyone has to reflect. So these reflections will happen for 25 minutes, right? In 10 minutes, again, they will only point out their 1 or 2 or 3 action points, because in a reflection, although these are the actionable point, they are still thinking, right? Because just now they have come up from a breakout room. They are not having the smart goals in the mind and all that. They are only thinking, right? So it is a macro level understanding. Although they will try to convey it in an actionable way, the coach will summarize the common thread and all that. Now afterwards, again, means the structure itself, the participant know that is when you will complete your reflection, you have to write minimum 1 to maximum 3 goals in a smart way. That is what exactly you will do. Now again, participants will share their smart goals, like depending upon the participant. Someone can have 1, someone can have 2, someone will have 3, maximum 10 minutes. 1 minute is more than enough per participant. So this is a action and progress. Now they are coming up with a proper action plan, what they are accountable for. In the group, in the cohort, you already have a accountability buddy, right? So that accountability buddy will take care of this particular monitoring. That group norm, the structure is already in place in your group, right? So now with this, your action and progress also is over. Now the closing is for the last 10 minutes. You will wrap up and you will also talk about the next steps. What will happen now during the next session? And the coach will summarize the session learning, summarize, because so many people have reflected, given their action point. So the coach will have a brief summarization of the session takeaways, recap. Do not end without the clarity of the next session. In the next session, again, you will give them the notes. The topic will be different. So in a minute, you have to explain the next session also. And like few of you have talked about the Mentimeter and all that. Yes, you will utilize all these tool techniques for the real-time feedback and engagement, right? So now comes the last 5 minutes, right? Wait, what has happened? Now comes the last 5 minutes. That is the inspirational closing. So you can have some ritual, have your stamp on it. That is okay. I will start and end my group coaching sessions in this way. Maybe you can share an inspirational story on the topic again, or you can share the inspirational story which will connect the topic of this session to the topic of the next session. Whatever is your way, but go for something inspirational, right? So idea is let the participant look forward to the next session. Oh my God. Okay. So now, right, don't end abruptly. Okay. Now, session summarize, close. Arey, but what will happen in the next session, right? All that. So you have to basically connect the dots. So there can be one idea, right? So for example, you can have a quick gratitude practice. What is the gratitude practice? There are a variety of the ways. For example, you will have some kind of system wherein people will talk about their one gratitude about today's session. So the gratitude has to be positive. Gratitude has to be respecting, right? So they are declaring that is from the today's session, this is my gratitude, right? So the something like that. So just a one sentence from the every participant also can be the closer of the session. One way is to have an inspirational story. Another way is to let participant do something positive in a very time efficient way. So you always close the session on a positive note. So this is the say model structure or a recommended structure for a 90-minute session. First 15 minutes, opening 10 minutes, the goal alignment, outcome alignment 5 minutes, then the central part of the 40 minutes, coach contribution 20 minutes, the participant discussion, role play, a game, right? Panel discussion or XYZ, everything for the 20 minutes. So the equal amount of time approximately to the coach, equal amount of time to the participant. Then a good amount of time on the group reflections, a good amount of time on sharing 1, 2, 3 action points. So the total 25 minutes time on the reflections and the action points. Then the closing, another 10 minutes in which the summarization, wrap up, next steps, right? And then finally closing on a positive note, right? So this is how you have to manage your session. So now you have understood how difficult it is to complete a group coaching session in 45 minutes. Really difficult. I am yet to crack it. I have not cracked the code of completing a group coaching session effectively in 45 minutes. But yes, the same me after a few years will crack the code because our direction is clear. Our direction is to make the session as compact, as efficient, as effective as possible. So this 90 minutes can become first 75 minutes, then 60 minutes, and then finally 45 minutes is the target what we will target. But this is the say model session what you have to keep in mind when you will design your sessions. So with this, we are taking a break.